Welcome back, fellow model raritors, to my latest how-to video on installing a DCC sound system in an engine that I have not seen done on YouTube before. One of the things I like to do with these videos is show things that other people haven't already done. So I looked for similar models to this. This is obviously from the title. It's a Proto 1000 RS-18 locomotive. I picked this up on eBay recently. It's used, but I don't think it's been used very much. Obviously, the previous owner never put the details on, so I've got to do that. And I did put Katie couplers on it. Another thing that's kind of, hopefully it's obvious to you out there, test the locomotive before you put a decoder in it. I've already tested it. Obviously, when I received it, I tested it, and I just ran it back and forth just to test it one more time. So here's the toys I have to put into the engine. Oh, I was going to say, similar locomotives to this, or similar models to this. I think the Proto 1000 RS-10, RS-18, and probably the RS-11 are all going to have similar drive systems. So it's probably going to be a similar installation. So you can see I have my Tsunami 2 decoder. I have a Decoder Buddy, my speakers, and it's a speaker. It's one speaker and enclosure. And I have a TCS KA2 Keep Alive. So let's get at it and see what we got to do here to put all these goodies in there. There we go. Decoder Buddy's upside down. Sorry, Nick. Yeah. Get these goodies out of the way. Get the engine taken apart. Here's my engine cradle. Take the couplers off. And there's two screws right here. And I think that's all. That's all, folks. And there we go. We're in. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're going to have to do here. I'm thinking about, I've already been in here, and so I know what I want to do. I'm thinking about, we can put the speaker on either end, and we will just put the Keep Alive on the opposite end. And the way I'm looking at it is remove these pieces of the tower. What I'm going to do probably is assemble the speaker first and see if it'll fit in here without cutting it down. If it'll fit in that space there or in that space down there. And the other thing I'm going to have to do is replace the bulbs with LEDs. The other thing I might do, think about it, I might drill out the class lights and see if I can get light up to them. I think I have some fiber optic someplace, but that's not high on the priority list. And before I put everything back together, the shell back on, I'll put the details on too. So I think the next step is I'm going to put the speaker together and the speaker enclosure and wire that up and do a test fit. Now what I want to do with this one, sometimes I just use the bottom piece, but if I can, I like to put in both pieces. There we go. And the speaker fits much better into that piece there. I hope everything's on the camera. I just realized that. Screwdriver. if you haven't done this before, the bottom piece of the speaker enclosure, it tends to bow inwards, and it makes it very difficult to get the speaker into the speaker enclosure. But that extender piece, it's never a problem. So I got that in, and now I need to solder my leads. And what I like to do is just put my wire cutters on like that to weight it down. Right now, I'm going to go have my dinner, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, dinner's over with. Let's get back to work here. I need to wire up the speaker. Too much solder. Usually I like to use standard colors for my wiring, which would normally be purple for the speakers. Come on, there we go. But I'm running out of purple, so I'm going to use green today. I don't use much green. I just don't like to use red and black and orange and gray, mainly, for anything but wiring. Power. There we go. Okay. Everybody's good and set and play. Ooh, look at that. Now, the one problem I see with that location is it's in the way of this tube if I want to use that tube, which I was going to do. But so it goes. And normally I would prefer to have the speaker mounted down. What if I did sideways like this? I want to check the height. Let's get that out of the way. Don't need that down here. Let's see if we have enough room in the shell, because that's a little bit higher. About there. That's the front end, so yeah, we have room. It'll fit. So that leaves the question of headlights and how we're going to get the LEDs mounted. What I'm considering, if I mount it like that, I'm going to have to be careful. Put some Kapton tape along here so we don't get a short, and make sure that the speaker enclosure is well glued in place. But I think that'll work. Excellent. Now if I do that, what I'm going to do, I think, is pull these castings out. Yeah, needle nose. Alright, next project, the next part of the project. Where am I going to go from here? Take this board out, get the shell out of my way so I don't break it. The board, I'm going to need to remove, I guess the screws come up first. And I think the Decoder Buddy will fit into these two screws here. We'll see in a minute. So I guess this is where an 8-pin connector would go. Don't know. Tell you where that's going. Oh, goodbye. Bye-bye. And oh, look at that. They don't line up. Isn't that inconvenient? I guess the next potential problem is going to be making sure that the decoder and decoder buddy will fit in the shell. So let's test that out before we get too much further into the project. If you haven't seen one of my decoder installations before with the decoder buddy, there are about 3 or 4 things that I really like about these. The first is that the 21-pin connector allows me to change or upgrade a decoder in the future. If something happens to this, or if a better sounding decoder comes out, 21 pins seems to be the wave of the future, or the wave of the present. And so that's allows me to do a quick upgrade to the decoder, or if the decoder gets blown for some unexplained reason, there's no unsoldering to do. The other thing is they have resistors built in for the headlights and all the auxiliary lights too, for that matter, auxiliary functions. So that's very convenient. I really dislike putting in resistors when I'm installing LEDs. It's just not my thing. Alright, decoder. I'll take the pin protectors off. Come on. One thing I don't like about the 21 pins is they are very easy to bend. So the blank one is right up in this corner here. So it goes together like that. Now what do we have for height? My caliper. The high point is right at the 21 pin plug. And the other thing I like about decoder buddies is the little daughter board there. The daughter board allows me to put all the auxiliary functions on the board, so the headlights, if I want to mount the headlights to the shell, I don't have to worry about having enough cable or wire to allow me to remove the shell. All I have to do is remove the shell enough to get in there, unplug the daughter board, and the headlights will stay right up inside there. And it looks like we have plenty of room for the decoder. Put the Tsunami 2 away. Oh, let's put our pin protectors back on there too. There we go. So what I think I'm going to do is mount the buddy here on top of the motor, directly on top. Now the motor leads are going to have to go over to this side here, and I'm guessing that the black one is not going to be long enough. The red one going to be? Yeah, the red will work. And the black, close. I'm also guessing, oh look at that. The motor leads here will work, and the other end they're fine too. Ooh, one thing I don't like about this is that those leads are going to be very close to that metal right there. So maybe what I'm going to want to do is move it a little bit forward so that it's not so close to this metal frame here. Of course, the other thing you could do, I'm just trying to avoid it, but you could cut those bosses down. That's metal, that's part of the frame. If I were to cut it or file those down, grind them down, I would have to disassemble, and I'm just trying not to. So I'm going to cut those two down, and let's bring that up, make sure it's in. The other thing I could do is drill out 2 new holes. Two new mounting holes. That would be a really nice idea. Let's go. All right, I'm going to do this off camera. Come back in a few seconds and see the results. Okay, I filed down those mounting posts. I haven't drilled the new holes yet. Just want to let you know what I'm thinking now is I might move the speaker to the rear and mount it, cut a little bit of this post down so that I'm not so close. I really don't like being that close to this part of the metal frame on the front, on the back. So I think what I'll do is I'll cut down a little bit of this post. I could take the whole thing out, and both sides obviously, but I like the fact that it will be butted, it can be attached. I'm going to use this super glue. I think contact cement is better for this goo, Walther's goo. It'll give me a surface here and a surface here to mount the speaker to. The more the merrier. So I think the next step will be to cut down part of that. I'm going to mount the speaker on the back instead of on the front, and put the Keep Alive circuit on the front end, which is how I do it on GP Atlas GP7s. So this will mount up here and fall down in there. What I may need to do is put a piece of styrene across to mount that too. The other nice thing about the Decoder Buddy is we can mount the Keep Alive circuit right to the board here. We don't need any plugs, as is required or would be required with the Soundtraxx if you use the plug-and-play boards. Alright, new day, and some alterations have been made. You can see I've got the Decoder Buddy in place. I've removed the daughter board just for now, because I'm going to have to, oh well, that was mainly to get the motor leads in place. See, I made the cuts back here for the speaker, right here. I took off just a little bit here, maybe 1/8 of an inch, and what did I do here? I just leveled it off. Yeah, there was a bit of a notch right here. So I just leveled this off. The speaker will fit nicely. I'm going to run it that way. I've just got to put these, bend the wires a little bit, make some more room here. And the speaker will go right there. Next thing to do is I'm going to take off the protectors here for the pins, and I'm going to plug in the decoder, and I'm going to take it over to my test track. The other thing I need to do is the keep alive. That's it. The keep alive has to be attached, and I think it goes to this W here and this one next to it, or it could go over to this one. You see that U and the W or the ground, I'm not sure which. I will check my paperwork, see which way it goes. Be back in a minute after I test. And well, once I test it, I got to hook up the speaker. Oh, by the way, I'm testing right now just to make sure that the motor is working, and it goes forward when I say forward and backwards when it says backwards. This is the front end here. Then I will have to hook up the speaker, check to make sure the sound is working, and then I will hook up the keep alive and make sure that works. And then we'll be down to dealing with the lights. The decoder works. It goes that way forward and that way reverse. I did install the speaker. The speaker works fine. And that's all set. I haven't programmed it yet. Well, I started programming momentum, acceleration, and deceleration. But I haven't programmed the number. I haven't programmed the prime mover select, bells, horns, things like that yet. That'll come next, well, later, I should say. The next operation will be to install the keep alive. And then, again, as I said earlier, got to get to work on the headlights.